Representing Cambridge, a student from Iceland. Her hair naturally the right colour for the crew known as Blondie.
Yes, I must say I have never heard of rowing before I came to England. And I used to do figure skating, which I guess sort of ice skating is more related to Iceland. But, yeah, frozen water. But I don't know, I decided to do something completely different, and rowing is very popular in Cambridge. So I tried it out and have never looked back since.
Being on the river, it's almost like meditation. You just forget about everything else. You just concentrate on the stroke, on each individual stroke, and it's fantastic.
More or less straight headwinds now, and they're off. And Cambridge go off the start at 41, Oxford at 42. And quite a lot of space in between these crews on the river at the moment. They're both sort of taking the outside line, really. And not a lot between them in terms of position. A lot of splash coming up from the Cambridge boat, but I don't think it's their blade work. I think it's just the rough water they're going at the moment. Oxford also battling with the waves, battling with the elements. There's some good choppy catches going on. And nice, they're not missing much at the catch, but it's quite difficult to get those blades in the water together. I think that Cambridge have probably taken about a canvas lead as we get to the end of the what would be the enclosures. And a total boat stopper from the Cambridge crew. 7 lost it, caught a crab, the boat has slewed across the river, and Oxford have taken full advantage. So just shows you what dreadful conditions they have out here at the moment. A few white horses, Cambridge now back in their rhythm, and right over on the Berkshire station at the moment. But Oxford have taken full advantage, and I must feel for the Cambridge crew, a real boat stopper of a crab. And I'm sure the number 7, who is Alice Wordley, she was in Blondie last year at Bow. She must be feeling pretty sorry for herself, but they got back into their rhythm now, perhaps 2 to 3 lengths between them. Oxford basking in a little sunshine actually, 2 to 3 lengths ahead. Be interested to see whether Cambridge decide to get back onto their station, or whether they keep over on the Buck side, Berkshire side. 3 lengths separate the crews. Oxford now in a good rhythm at 34. Cambridge also at 34. So Cambridge have, I was just saying before that crab happened how difficult it was to get the blades in the water cleanly, and lo and behold one of them managed to get it rather uncleanly. So Cambridge in a good rhythm now, battling with the wind, still on the opposite station to where they started, and I think they're actually holding their own against Oxford in these difficult conditions. Good rhythm. The Harriet Eldred, the stroke of the Cambridge crew, has really set her crew up nicely again. She's got quite an upright stance and very smooth drive. More of a lean back at 7. In the Oxford crew, rating 32. Perhaps still 3 lengths ahead. I think Cambridge are doing very bravely in terms of trying to get back in contention, but they're going to have a miracle if they're going to get on level terms with Oxford again. But I'm sure as they approach Old Blades and beyond that the Barn Bar, I'm sure that the enthusiastic support on the bank will urge them on, and hopefully that will give them some heart. But as we just pass Old Blades, Cambridge at 32, Oxford in somewhat cleaner water. It really was very choppy near the beginning, and some very good crews would have had difficulty there. These crews are very good, and it was a matter of luck, I think, whether they got through. We've got Oxford now starting to pull away, I think. Cambridge have put on a very brave effort, having had that disastrous crab near the start. They put on a very brave effort, but it's starting to show now. Their strain on them is showing, and Oxford have, fortunately for them, pulled ahead, and they have the pleasure of looking back some way to see their opponents following behind. So as we approach the Barn Bar, not quite such an exciting race in terms of closeness this. We must feel for the Cambridge crew for their problems they had near the start, but Oxford looking confident as they cross the Barn Bar. I'm sure there'll be some cheers. I can hear a roar, and there's people rushing out from the bar to see the crews as they pass the Barn Bar. You'll notice we have a crane with a cherry picker on the top. We have television here today in the shape of sportuk.tv, and they will be you'll be able to see these races again when you get back at home on the internet. If you just go to www.sportuk.tv, you'll be able to view these races again, and you will also be able to buy a DVD of the occasion from Rock the Boat. So Cambridge now coming into the sunshine, and the sun really picking out the colours of their light blue singlets, and with the yellow stripes down the arms, but it's still about 3 to 4 lengths between Cambridge and Oxford as they go down towards the island. Oxford enjoying their lead, Cambridge putting on a brave face, and really nice digging deep now to try and get back into contention. But as they go down towards the island, Oxford maintaining their rate at 32, Cambridge looking very composed considering the trials they've been through, but Oxford are going to be quite jubilant as they approach the finish. Testing conditions, I thought just before it happened, I thought it was going to be the Oxford crew who had trouble with their blades. In fact, it was Cambridge. Cambridge caught a boat stopping crab within about 20 strokes of the start, and that gave Oxford the opportunity to pull ahead. They crossed the finishing line now in a time of 7:08, I think. And Cambridge now approaching, still looking good, and it's lovely to see the sun on them now, and it's lovely to feel the sun on my back. It has been a bit chilly on this launch so far, and Cambridge cross the finishing line now. So the winners of the reserve cruise Osiris, beating Blondie by several lengths.
Cambridge, the unlucky victims on a day of difficult rowing.
I think they just tipped with the top of one wave with a blade. It's in rough conditions like that your technique, your blade work, the cleanliness of the blade entering the water and then leaving the water at the end of the stroke, that's really what counts. And they just made one vital error. Boat stopped. They picked up their rhythm very well. I'll give them credit for that, because to have that happen in a major race like this can be so demoralizing, but nevertheless they picked up a good rhythm and they hung on in. There was some 3 lengths at halfway, but then it all proved too much and Oxford moved away in the second half.
The final race of the day saw the battle between the men's lightweight crews.
We've got in Cambridge at the bow we've got John Kiffin, 2 James Fulcher, 3 Ben Thomas, 4 Peter Herrick, 5 Alex Markham, 6 George Blessley, 7 Mark Aldred, and stroke is Christopher Kerr, coxed by Ted Randolph. In the Oxford lightweight boat we have at bow Andrew McGrath, Simon Janes at 2, Tom Harvey at 3, Will Canistaro at 4, Bradley Hull at 5, Benjamin Harrop Griffiths at 6, Henry Sheldon at 7, and stroked by Bodo Schulenberg, coxed by Colin Groshong, and they're off. Good solid start by both crews. And Oxford on the buck station in the cleaner water at the moment. Oxford at 41, Cambridge at 45 off the start. But Cambridge, through that slightly higher rate, have got perhaps a quarter of a length lead, but a long way to go and a lot of conditions to get through. The crews, both boats are coming together on the water. In fact, Cambridge is now being warned for steering. Interesting that the umpire warns them for steering, but the cocks can't actually see them. But no doubt the stroke will relay that information to their cocks. Cambridge again being warned for steering, and they are pushing Oxford quite far over to the buck station. Choppy water on both sides. I presume the Cambridge tactic is to try and get into the slightly easier water, and it seems to be paying off, because as they come towards the end of the enclosures, the Cambridge crew have 2/3 of a length over Oxford. And just coming towards the end of the really rough stuff, and both crews seem to have survived it. We're coming towards now Remenham Club, and Oxford have pulled back a little. Cambridge still perhaps 2/3 of a length up. Oxford at 36. Cambridge matching them more or less stroke for stroke. Cambridge are now down to 33. So Cambridge have a lead of just over half a length. Oxford holding them now, and in fact starting to raise their tempo and get back in contention. They now have overlap of the blades, and Oxford really pushing hard now, and certainly not over. A very exciting race. This is the third exciting race we've had today, and Oxford now perhaps down to a quarter a length behind Cambridge. Cambridge have really had a thumping start, a really powerful start, but Oxford now getting back and drawing just about level. There's probably about a canvas in it as they come towards Old Blades. And the Oxford stroke, Bodo Schulenberg, is German, he's strong, he's determined, and he's really driving his crew on. And I think there's not a lot in it at the moment. The Cambridge crew in slightly rougher water, but they do have the advantage perhaps of a bit more stream. So, you know, it swings and roundabouts really, but I think they're just about level. Cambridge have settled into this middle part of the race and have let Oxford come back. And Oxford are now just pulling marginally ahead of Cambridge. And good blade work from the Oxford crew, really together. Hand levels, catches together, just a little bit tidier than the Cambridge lightweight crew. And Oxford now pulling to a third of a length lead over Cambridge. So after that really strong start from Cambridge, where they pulled 2/3, 3/4 of a length over Oxford, Oxford now have reversed that. They now have the 1/2 to 3/4 of a length lead over Cambridge. And it's difficult to know what the Cambridge stroke can do to get back here. He's in the rougher water. The Oxford crew have certainly the tidier blade work, and are perhaps pulling out to a length lead over Cambridge at the moment. So Oxford enjoying the relative calm of the buck station here. As we pass the barn bar at Remenham Farm, you can see the margin. It's just over a length now as they pull past the Remenham Farm. Oxford looking confident, looking serene in these difficult conditions. They have been solid right from the beginning. They didn't panic when they were down. They dug in They raised their rate in the middle half of the course, and they've now pulled ahead to a length and a quarter over Cambridge. Very exciting, this race. It's lovely to see the lead change. Not if you're a Cambridge supporter though, as Cambridge, having led the race in the first quarter of the race, have just seen that lead evaporate, and Oxford, in what is definitely calmer water, have pulled through. And as we come down now towards the island, Oxford looking, as I say, quite serene and very, very confident, as you would when you're looking back on your opponents. You feel you've got a good enough margin to win this race. So barring disaster, I think Oxford look to have this one. They pulled their lead out to nearly 2 lengths as we approach the island. Oxford, the more consistent crew, Cambridge battling on. They're really putting in a tremendous burst as they come down towards the finish. The Cambridge stroke really urging his crew on, as is the Cox, but it's going to be tough. And I think as the finish marshal raises his flag and Oxford cross the line about now, Oxford cross the line now, Cambridge cross perhaps 2 lengths down. There's jubilation on the launch as the coaches and supporters wave their hands. Cambridge cross the line now, and Oxford have won the University Lightweights boat race for 2008. So head coach Jan Willem-Visser will be very pleased with his crew. Nick Brown, the head coach of the Cambridge crew, will perhaps be a little less ecstatic.
And we shouldn't forget to mention the row-over that started off proceedings. Nephthys, the reserve lightweights of Oxford, completing the course in the absence of a challenge from their Cambridge rivals. And so to the prize giving. An exuberant letting down of hair from all the winning crews.
Oh, it's such a big thing. It's one of those days that you'll just remember forever. I mean, you've trained for 6.5 months every day to get to this point, and to win is just, it's phenomenal. It's something you'll never forget. It's great.
Paul, getting.
It was a bit rough in the first stages, but we just gradually chipped away and stuck to our race plan, and we won. And